Hi guys, so today we are going to be baking some Christmas goods. I'm making 3 different recipes, and in this video we're making chocolate peppermint Christmas trees. To start out, we're gonna crack open a sweet cherry cola. So I went ahead and poured it in this really cute little Coca-Cola glass. Now I'm gonna wash my hands, and I just did my nails and they are so cute. Now let's get started with the actual baking. We're going to start out with preheating the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm going to go ahead and line my baking dishes with parchment paper. I'm going to start out with 1, but as you can see I have 2 if we need them. So what you'll need is all-purpose flour, unsweetened cocoa, baking powder, salt, butter, granulated sugar, peppermint extract, confectioner's sugar, vanilla extract, and then crushed peppermints, but I just bought candy canes and I'm going to crush them. Now that the oven's preheating, I'm just going to use this baking bowl or mixing bowl to mix all the ingredients. We're going to start out with a cup of flour getting poured into our mixing bowl. Now we're going to pour in 1/4 of a cup of cocoa. We're going to go ahead and pour this in with our flour. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking powder going in the mixture. So now we are going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Now that's going in. So I kind of did not calculate right. So now we're going to pour this dry mixture into the green bowl and reserve it. Much better. So like I said, we're putting this to the side, and now we're going to start whipping some ingredients together. We're going to wait a minute for the butter to get to room temp, but I'm just going to take a break and drink some more of my Coca-Cola. So I don't feel like waiting, so we're going to pop it into the microwave for 5 seconds and see if that does any good. I'm just flipping it over every time the 5 seconds goes off. So now let's flip it again. Okay, so I did that a few times until it gotten to where it's not like rock hard, but also not melted. Okay, so the recipe calls for a cup of butter, so we're going to throw in 2 sticks. 1 stick of butter. Hello? 2 sticks of butter. So now we need 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, but all I can find is 1/4 a cup, so we're just going to do 2 of these. 1/4, 2/4, or 1/2. Now we're going to go ahead and open up this brand new peppermint extract. Now it's been about 30 minutes and the dough is getting firm, so now let's move on to the next steps. So I just laid down parchment paper and like halfway unwrapped this dough ball, but now we're just going to flour this surface. After you sprinkle down some flour, you also want to make sure your hands are really floured so the dough does not stick. So now the dough is very firm, so I'm just going to lay it down on the surface. I'm just flattening out the dough a little bit before I roll it. So I know this is for like Christmas trees, but I'm just really going to use all of my like winter themed cookie cutters, including the Christmas tree. Like we even have like a little mitten and like this whole cute snowman. First though, I'm going to go and wash them off a little bit just so I know they're not dirty. So the recipe called for the dough to be about 1/4 of an inch thick, so I just kind of flattened it out to where it would be about that thickness. I am going to flour the top of my dough a little bit just so the cookie cutters don't get stuck while I'm cutting out the shapes. I am just going to start out with the Christmas tree to see how good it works. Okay, we're just going to do our little first press down. Went through really easy. We'll wait to pull it out. We're going to do this little snowman dude. Cute. A little mitten. I think for this first round we can only fit 1 more, so I'm just going to do this little like snowflake kind of shape. Now I'm just going to kind of start peeling off the dough around the molds. Definitely don't throw this dough away because we're just going to re-roll it and cut out even more shapes. So now the extra dough is in 1 big dough ball. We are going to try and push these shapes out of their mold. Okay, so we got the first one out. He thankfully did not crack or bend or anything. They're coming out pretty easy, just still be gentle when you're pushing them out. So I got them all out, and the next step is just to put them on the baking sheets. So I'm going to do that before I cut any more out. So here's one of the baking sheets. So we're just going to space them out about an inch apart, just so when they expand they don't interfere with each other. Now I'm just going to continue this process until all the dough is taken up. I know the recipe also called to turn on the oven before you started and everything, but I did turn it off while the stuff is cooling just so it wouldn't be running for an hour and a half. So we are also going to start that back up. I did forget to put a little extra flour on top, so it is a little bit harder to push them through. So I definitely recommend putting a thin layer of flour on the top of it before you press your cookie cutters through. Okay, so now we are working on our very last one. We're going to do one last Christmas tree. Okay, so now we are just going to put this on the baking dish. Okay, so this is baking dish number 1, and here is baking dish number 2. I think they turned out so good. So now it's time to put them in the oven and sadly wait even more. But the good thing about this waiting time is that it's only 10 to 12 minutes. Like, what? So now I'm just gonna go ahead and put these in the oven. And now only have to wait 10 to 12 minutes. So my timer literally just went off, so it's time to pull them out of the oven. Okay, so we just took them out. My dog is right there. But we just took them out, and now it's time to make the frosting. So we're back with the little green bowl, and first we need to pour in a cup of confectioner's sugar. You might know it a little bit better as powdered sugar, but here we are pouring it in. Now for this part, we are just going to use a hand whisk to whisk it. Now we need just a tablespoon of water. So that should be good. We'll just pour that in. Now we're just going to use a fourth of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. If I can get that lid off. Just gonna pour that straight in. Also, like, look at how pretty these measuring spoons are. Like with the little dragonfly and like the little flower, they are all so cute, and they all have like the little dragonfly and stuff. It's adorable. Now I'm just gonna whisk this until it's like a frosting kind of consistency. It is taking a little while for the icing to get to that smoother like consistency, so I am gonna add in just a little splash of water just to help it a little bit. See, because that little splash of water like literally has changed it so much. It is already getting to that like smoother consistency. So my mother did just put them on the cooling rack so they would cool faster. But right now I'm just really trying to get the chunks of the confectioner's sugar out. It's pretty hard. Okay, so I think I've gotten just about all of the chunks out. So now it's time for the best part, which is to drizzle this on top of the cookies. We are gonna let them cool a little bit more. So that's good because it gives us time to crush up the candy canes. We're just gonna move this little bowl out of the way, and it calls for 5 to 6 like hard round candy canes. And these are like minis. So we'll use about 5 to 6 of these too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I have 6 of them right here. So now it's time for the fun part, to crush them up. First, I do need to cut them open. I don't know why, but these candy canes, for some reason, their packaging is so hard to get open, so I'm just using scissors. So now it is time to pour all the candy canes into a Ziploc bag to crush them up. I like these because they're like a little more delicate, so they're going to be easier to crush because I literally barely dropped that in and it just broke. So hopefully this won't be too hard, but got 4 in, 5, and last one, oh, almost fell out, 6. Okay, so now we're gonna zip the Ziploc bag up just so the little pieces don't fly everywhere. Let me squeeze the air out of it first. But now it is time to crush. I'm just gonna use our hands because they're very easy to crush. I'm just kind of slamming them on the table. I had to double bag it because I could tell a hole was starting to form. But I don't want them to be microscopic, but I don't want them to be too big. Because if you didn't notice, I got braces, so I can't really bite down on anything crunchy. Okay, so now we have them all crushed up, and they should be cool by now. So we're going to drizzle on the frosting and also the little candy cane. Well, the chopped up little candy canes. Okay, so I laid some parchment paper underneath so when I drizzled, like, it wouldn't get on my countertops and it would be like an easy cleanup. But now let's start drizzling. I think I'm just going to start, with this little snowman. We'll start with him. We'll see how this works. Oh, I'm kind of scared. But it is, okay. Oh, wow. It works actually pretty good. We'll put the peppermints on after I drizzle all of them. So it's all done drizzling. I think my last one was the best. But now we're going to start sprinkling on the candy canes. So we're just probably going to grab a few and just kind of sprinkle it on top of the icing and hope it sticks. This is kind of the final result. I'm so happy with how they turned out. Now I am so excited to go and eat them and enjoy them. But that's all for today. Peace out. Catch you later. Bye, guys.